was my destiny.
I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley.
Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
There are some who make me out to be the villain of this here story.
Let's don't let a good thing die.
So what you just saw was a movie preview, and I only showed a few seconds of it. The movie is about Elvis. It's a new movie that's coming out in June, and I've talked about this, and I even did a video about it months ago. And there's something that happened today that connects to this, okay? And you know that Tom Hanks is playing the character Colonel Tom Parker, who was Elvis Presley's manager. And Tom Hanks, in a lot of his movies, has Elvis references, okay? This Hanks is really connected to the Elvis puzzle. So the real Colonel Tom Parker died back in 1997, and he was 87 years old when he died, which is very important, the 87. Because if Elvis was alive today, he'd be 87 years old. Okay, and I told you this year is his most important birthday. And wouldn't you believe it, there's an actual singer named Tom Parker, some dude from the UK, and he was in a boy band. And in October of 2020, he made news because they said he had an inoperable brain tumor. And when I did the video about him, in October of 2020, I did a video, and because I was telling everybody that this is just predictive programming, and this guy is going to die, eventually. Obviously, it's not that big of a prediction to say, because they said he had inoperable brain tumor, right? Anyway, his name is Tom Parker. So before I show you the Tom Parker connection, I just want you to remember my two predictions. There's going to be a spectacular event in Seattle around June 11th, and somehow Elvis becomes part of it. And then the other prediction is Trump gets his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. And August 4th is Obama's birthday. Trump gets the head wound, and he survives the head wound. So let's get back to this singer, Tom Parker. So let's look at the first connection. So his initials, TP, the T is the 20th letter, and P is the 16th letter. And why is that important? Because, Donald Trump, he won the presidency in 2016. That's when he was elected. Okay? And if you take out the 0, because the 0 can be a crown, so it'll be 216, 216. The 216th day of the year is August 4th, the day I'm telling you Trump gets his head wound, which is Obama's birthday. Trump gets the head wound. And look, it's the 216th day of the year. So that's another connection to what I just showed you. So this Tom Parker died today, March 30th, okay? Today is 3:30, okay? Get it? It's got the 3-3, and he dies at 33. Do you see that? So he dies at 33, and it's on 3-3. I mean 3:30, but still, it's a 33. Basically, it's a crown with the 33 number. And I told you 33 plus 33 is 66, and the number 66 equals the word twin. Twin equals 66. That's what I meant to say. And Elvis died in the 16th state of Tennessee. That's where Elvis died. And Elvis was born in Mississippi, which is the 20th state. So do you see that? What I just showed you? So he died in the 16th state and born in the 20th state. And before I show you that connection, look at this. It says it means the word Mississippi. It's a Native American word meaning great waters or father of waters. And Elvis equals water in gematria. And he had Native Indian in him, supposedly, Elvis. So do you see that? So Mississippi is the 20th state and Tennessee is the 16th state where Elvis died and Elvis was born, you see? And if you switch the numbers around, it would be 1620. And the 162nd day of the year is June 11th. So that's my other prediction, you see? August 4th is 216th day of the year, and 162nd day of the year is June 11th. And this singer who died with the same name, Tom Parker, he died, today, you understand? This year, March 30th, today, 2022. And there's a movie coming out about Elvis's manager, Tom Parker. Anyway, he's born on August 4th, 1988. Do you see that? Do you understand how ridiculous this is? That he's born on the day that I'm telling you that Trump's going to get his head wound. And also Obama's birthday, like I said. Anyway, and he's born in the year 88. And I told you the Back to the Future is all about the 88 number, right? And if you've been watching my videos, you know I told you Trump's going to get his head wound on August 4th. And then either come back on 8/7 or 8/8 a few days later. Either trying to copy either Jesus or Lazarus when he was raised from the dead, Lazarus, 4 days later. And Elvis died at the age of 42, and in 1988, Trump was 42 years old. And on his 42nd birthday, Trump had a spaceship at his party. You know what I mean? Kind of connecting to the Space Needle because it kind of looks like a spaceship, the top of it. Like I said, this Tom Parker died at the age of 33 on 3/30. You understand? It's the 3/3 with a crown. And that was the shooting date, the attempted assassination date of Ronald Reagan. See, I've shown this, I did videos about this years ago. Ronald sounds like Donald, do you understand? And it was on March 30th. And Trump, he's born on June 14th. So from today's date to June 14th, Trump's birthday, it's 77 days. And Elvis died in the year 77. But look, it's 2 months and 16 days in between. You see that? It's the 216 again. And the 216th day of the year is August 4th, the day Trump gets his head wound. And look, Trump's born on 6/14. 6 times 14 equals 84. 84 is the day Trump gets his head wound. And, during the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, Reagan was shot in the side, supposedly. But there was another person who was shot in the head. Here's the guy who got shot in the head that day, see? Was hit in the head above his left eye, passing through underneath his brain and shattering his brain. So he survived this shooting, okay? Just like Trump's going to survive, but he died many years later. Let me show you how many years later he died. So remember, it happened in 1981, the shooting, right? See, let's see when James Brady, the guy who got the head wound, died. Now you see how ridiculous this is? So he died in 2014, 33 years after he got the head wound. It's the 33 again, and look at the date, August 4th. The guy who got a head wound during a presidential assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan. Ronald sounds like Donald, and he ends up dying on August 4th, the guy who got the head wound. And I told you Trump that he's going to get his head wound most likely in Ohio. And Ohio is the 17th state. And remember, I showed you from Trump's actual birthday, the day he's born, to the day that JFK was supposedly assassinated, is 17 years. You see, there was 17 years. Forget about the months and days right now, but it's the 17 that I want you to pay attention to. Because I told you that Ohio's the 17th state where Trump's going to get his head wound. Now let's go from JFK's birthday to the day Reagan was shot. I didn't mean to say his birthday. I meant let's go from JFK's assassination day to the day Reagan was shot. Look, it's 17 years again. And this time it's 4 months and 8 days. Look at that. That's perfect. Because Trump gets his head wound on 8/4, you see? And Ohio's a 17th state. You see? These are not coincidences. Anyway, let me get back to Tom Hanks. I'm just skipping around here. So I told you that Tom Hanks is completely connected to Elvis, you know, and he even did a movie called Sleepless in Seattle. He has a bunch of movies with references of Elvis. And you know what? Him and his wife were the very first people to get the sickness. Tom Hanks was the first celebrity to get it. Can you believe that? And what was Tom Hanks doing when he first got it? He was filming the Elvis movie that's coming out in June this year, you see? They had to stop filming it because he was the first person to get it, first celebrity. And they're filming an Elvis movie. Just ask yourself, what is the chances of all this? And remember, I told you Elvis is searching for his crown, and Corona means crown, and Seattle is in King County, and Elvis was known as the king, I told you. And Elvis died at the age of 42, and Washington's the 42nd state. It all connects. Just like when I showed, as soon as the news broke, that the first detected case of the virus was in Seattle. I did a video that very first moment. The first case was in Seattle. Just ask yourself, what is the chance of that? And first death was in Washington State. First outbreak was in Washington. It was in King County, I think. Kirkland was the city, I think, near Seattle. The first clinical trials were in Seattle. It was this creature. You see that? It says, first person in the world to trial. Look at it. See? Her name was Jennifer Haller from Seattle, you see? Again, connected to Seattle and Washington. And the first person to actually take the injection, you know, after the trials, was done on December 14th. It was a nurse, a black nurse, and December 14th was the first time, and that is Washington's death date. December 14th is when Washington died, George Washington. And when have you ever seen a president, because there was a CNN headlines, if you ever, I was watching CNN the day I did the video, it said Trump threatened Seattle. You see that? On June 11th, Trump threatened Seattle. Can you believe this? Because I told you, everything is about June 11th and August 4th. And Elvis and Trump, Seattle. Oh, and remember I showed this years ago? Tom Hanks, he tweeted, he even made a video saying how creepy this building is. You know, he actually, did a video. And that building is the AT&T building. And I told you the AT&T is the code that got me to know that Seattle was the next target. Because I told you Seattle has the AT&T, just like Manhattan had the AT&T. And if you know my videos, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into that. But look, it's on 33 Thomas Street. And his name is Thomas, Tom Hanks. Just like Thomas Parker, the guy who died and Elvis's manager. Thomas means twins. Thomas means twin. The name Thomas. And the 33 again. And speaking of AT&T, there's this AT&T Batman building, it's called. You see this? And where is this Batman building? Look at that. It's in Tennessee where Elvis died. And look at the address, 333 Commerce Street. Look at all those threes. And look, it's 33 stories. I mean, can you believe this? And it's an AT&T building. And the reason they call it the Batman building, because the face kind of looks like Batman's mask, you know? And look, it's got 2 needles. You see that? And the AT&T right in the middle, you see? And look, it has 3 tiers on each side. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 33 again.
Yes. Are you Batman?
I am Batman.
Mr. Trump.
Yes.
Are you Batman?
I am Batman. I am Batman.
Oh, and let me mention these deaths that happened. This guy actually died. He supposedly got the virus, and they had to cut off his leg. And when they did that, I said that he would have to die because he would have to come back with 1 leg, because they were saying he was getting better. But I said, no, he's going to die. And he ended up dying, see? Because they would have to show him with a leg missing. Anyway, he was a Broadway actor. Broadway. And why am I bringing this up? Because the Space Needle in Seattle is on Broad Street. You see? And you know, there's the Bible verse that says, enter in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there which go in thereat. Basically, you know, they're saying that broad is the road to destruction, you know. Broad is the way. And that's why him being a Broadway star, and look, he had a child not long before he died. His wife was Amanda. Amanda. Look at this. They're saying that their child had an old soul. What in the heck? And the kid's name was Elvis. And look when he was born, 6/10. 1 day before. And look at that. It's even got his Trump's birthday, 14/6, backwards. You see what I'm saying? I mean, 1 day before, June 11th, the day I'm telling you Seattle's going to be struck. And look, his name is Elvis. That was his child. And this guy died, the Broadway star. And you remember when I showed that Kelly Preston died? John Travolta's wife. And look, she's got the PRES for Presley and the TON for Washington. Preston, Washington, Presley. You understand? Elvis. And they say that she died on July 12th, 7/12. And by the way, if you went from the first day of the year to July 12th, if you don't count July 12th, but up to that day, it's 6 months and 11 days. There's your 6/11, you see? And the day she died, July 12th, it equals 162. You see that? And why is that important, the 162? Because the 162nd day of the year is June 11th. And the day she died, 7/12, 7 times 12 equals 84. 84 is when Trump gets his head one. And you know Trump's birthday is 6/14. And if you went 6 times 14, you get 84 also. And you know their child died too a long time ago. And he was 16. And I told you Elvis died on the 16th day of the year. And Tennessee is where Elvis died, the 16th state. And Elvis was born in the 1st month. Trump was born in the 6th month. The insurrection happened on 1/6, remember? And you know who this guy is? This guy is Elvis Presley's daughter. You know, Elvis Presley had only one child, and it was a daughter named Lisa Marie Presley. And her first child died by suicide, they say. And when did he die, this person? And it's interesting that his name is Storm. Part of his name. He also died on July 12th. And by the way, I did this story many times on my old videos, like I said, that got terminated. He died on the same day that Kelly Preston died. And I told you Preston has the P-R-E-S plus the T-O-N. It's connected to Elvis. And Elvis's grandson dies on the same day? I mean, are you kidding me? And his father, you know, Lisa Marie, this is the mother. His father is this guy. His name is Danny Keough. And look when he's born, 11/6. Can you believe this? 6/11, 11/6. Anyway, folks, the whole point of this video was to show that a guy named Tom Parker died today on 3/3 at the age of 33. I mean 3/30 at the age of 33. Born on August 4th in the year 88. And Tom Hanks is playing Tom Parker in the new Elvis movie coming up in June. I mean, do you understand how ridiculous this is? Do you understand what this was? It was a ritual, right? Anyway, folks, I left out tons of information and connections. I just was trying to make this video as short as possible. So just don't forget my predictions, okay? Elvis somehow manifests after a spectacular event in Seattle on or around June 11th. And the other prediction is Trump gets his head wound on August 4th, most likely in Ohio. All right, Trump gets a head wound and he survives the wound. All right, folks, end of video. Oh, wait, I can't end the video. I forgot to show something. Oh, I left out an important piece of the puzzle. Remember I told you that Elvis's grandson died on July 12th, 7/12, the same day as Kelly Preston, 7/12, and I told you 7 times 12 equals 84, right? Just like Trump, his birthday, 6 times 14 equals 84. And July 12th is 7/12. You understand? 7 times 12 equals 84. Look how old Kelly Preston was when she died. She died at 57 years old, okay? And the guy who died on the same day as her, Elvis' grandson, was 27. So she was 57, he was 27. 57 plus 27 equals 84. You see that? Again with the 8-4. Now end of video.